pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello, BookTube. I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. I have never done one of these UnHaul videos, mainly for the reason that I've never been interested to watch one in my entire BookTube viewing experience. But I thought I'd film one just for the hell of it, because I am, in about half an hour, I'm leaving with a bag full of books and going to an English language used bookstore in Tokyo. And I'm going to trade a batch of books in for books that I might actually like to read. So I thought, well, I'll make one. You guys will tell me whether it's interesting, either by your thumbs down or lack of comments or lack of page views, and I'll get the message. Like I say, I've never bothered to watch one, because I thought, why would I want to watch a video about books people don't want to read? But I'm going to make one, so let's see how it goes, shall we? Some of these have been on my channels as bales or whatever before, including this one, a non-fiction book, Founding Grammars, How Early America's War Over Words Shaped Today's Language. This is a book on the history of American English. I found the writing so dry that, despite being deeply interested in the topic, I just couldn't keep my eyes open, so I'm getting rid of it. I started this for Non-Fiction November last year as a new booktuber, and it quickly renamed it Non-Fiction Novexit because I don't really like reading non-fiction, and this was one of the best examples that month. Here's another non-fiction that I don't know what possessed me to buy. A book of essays on France by Julian Barnes. I think I paid $2 for it. Something to Declare. His long and passionate relationship with France began more than 40 years ago. Well, I'm not interested in France. I'm not. Have anything against France, but I'm not interested. And now, having suffered through his, was it a Booker-winning novel, The Sense of an Ending, I don't think I'm in love with Julian Barnes either. So, goodbye! I won't mention the podcaster's name because I love her dearly. And so it's not the one that I always talk about, Jenny. It's not her. But another book podcaster that I don't trust her taste in books, because only about 30% of the books that she raves about on her podcast are any good, as far as I'm concerned. And this was one that, it was also a cover by. She loved it, and I loved the cover. Isn't that a fabulous cover? Happy Family by Tracy Barone. But since ordering it, I've read several reviews that were all 3 stars or 2 stars. I've flipped through it and read paragraphs. It just sounds awful. It's about an adopted woman, maybe? What is it about? It's a debut. 1962, a pregnant girl staggers into a health clinic, gives birth, and flees. A foster family takes the girl in. That's not necessarily a turn-up, but no, I think it's very limp prose from what that cover is to die for. But bye-bye! Don't want to waste my time. Another non-fiction, getting rid of all the stupid non-fiction I've got. Game Theory. This is part of the Oxford Very Short Introduction series, and it's garbage. I read 3, maybe, and 2, maybe I read 4, and 3 of them were just terrible, as if the professor photocopied his notes from his 30-year-old first-year introductory class on the topic, and somebody typed them up and slapped headings and really grainy black and white illustrations on it, like really embarrassingly bad line of books. The only one that was really good was the one on modern African history, which stands out. But Game Theory, what little I knew, and it was very little on Game Theory, I thought I want to know more about that, but this was way too dense for me, and I've tried to give it away 1,000 times. Nobody wants it, so goodbye. I hate to give this one away because the setting is where I teach, and about a 10-minute bus ride from where I live here in Tokyo, the Nakano Thrift Shop by Hiromi Kawakami. And these are awful. Everybody whose taste in books I respect says they're awful. Apparently the first one, Tokyo something something, Strange Weather in Tokyo, is supposed to be better, but this one is uniformly decried as piece of garbage. So, bye! Even though, like, that's my train that takes me to my house. That's the Keio line. That must be Shinjuku Station. Like, I should just rip the cover off and put it on the wall, but yeah, goodbye. My little bit negative today, well, it's a book UnHaul. What do you expect? This one was a huge disappointment. The Towers of Trebizond by Rose Macaulay. I started reading it a couple months ago. It's a 1950s novel about a woman and her aunt going to Turkey. And the first chapter was so brilliant and hilarious that I thought it was like Barbara Pym with a PhD. And then they go to Turkey, and it gets so racist so quickly that I was disgusted and goodbye. I should actually just tear this one up. I don't think anybody should read this garbage. British satires work best when they poke fun within their own culture, but boy, they can be racist when they turn their gaze to people with a different skin color. I'm talking about writing of this era, right? Geek Love. I think I got this at the same bookstore that I'm taking it back to, Catherine Dunn. I was looking forward to reading this for years and finally started reading it on New Year's Day this year. First chapter was brilliant. Second chapter made me want to puke. Like, it was just really too weird for me, and I thought, nope, not going to read it. I'll never try it again. Goodbye. Another bail. Those of you long-time subscribers might remember I tried A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing by Amor McBride, doing it as a text-audio combo. If I remember correctly, the audio was done by her, and it was just brilliant. But what turned me off about a third or a half of the way through was that children's voice that was done so wonderfully, which I had no trouble following and understanding. It was great. But when the girl got to be 14, 15, 16, it was still that same precocious, ungrammatical stream of consciousness. Like, it didn't change as she got older. I thought, if it's not going to change throughout the book, that's just a ridiculous gimmick, and I'm not interested, so I bailed. Just recently bailed on this. It was no good. Book of short stories by somebody who's supposedly Canadian but has lived in the UK since Queen Victoria's time, and these stories aren't very good. All the Beloved Ghost by Alison MacLeod. Another disappointment, but you know, when you like to try debuts, I'm often disappointed because I love debuts, and occasionally, as Steve Donahue waxed passionately about, that he loves trying debut novels, and I do too, because there's some real gems, but there's a lot of crap. Well, this was crap. The 16 Trees of the Somme by Lars Mitting started out really good, the writing was really good, and then it just devolved into this weird, gimmicky, supernatural mystery set in Norway, to do with Nazis during the war and stuff, but there was a scene where I realized it had devolved into the kind of genre fiction that makes me puke. Was the main character, his grandfather had just died, and his ex-girlfriend comes over and they snoop through the grandfather's stuff and dress up in his clothes or somebody's clothes and start making out. There's no emotional component to any of this. It just made me sick, so I bailed. And the last one. I paid a lot of money for this huge hardcover, The Castle of Kings by Oliver Potch, and I was really disappointed that it read like a cheesy YA historical thing. It's set in Germany in 1524, and it just read like Harry Potter. Like, it just, in other words, just garbage. So I bailed. I paid a lot of money for it, and let's see if I can at least get a decent book from the trade. Ooh, well, now I got myself worked up. I just almost got myself upset by talking about how much I hated these books. So I'm going to have the flip side when I go get some new books, and I'll be doing haul videos in the form of page 112 tags, so they'll be coming in batches of 3 throughout the coming weeks. That was fun, maybe 11 minutes. Thanks for watching.